Good morning. All right, gonna get used to this. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Mary Ann Casson and I will be chairing today's session. Panel members today are, on my left, Mr. Nipfeld, Mr. Marziari, on my right, Mr. Fazeli, and Mr. Bartolo. And our Deputy Secretary Treasurer today is Simon Lamb. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, excuse me, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. For those participating virtually, when your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions of the committee. Today, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is contested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation. When an application is uncontested, the committee may not require a presentation. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept new materials at the hearing. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Each speaker, including the applicant, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute mark. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. So first of all, let's start with any conflicts for this morning's agenda. Mr. Bartolo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll declare a conflict on item number 9. Yes, 9. The owner's agent and I worked for a mutual client in the past.
All right. Can we hear that okay, everyone? Okay, any other conflicts here? All right, I have a conflict in item 11, 46 Mason Boulevard, just because it's in my neighborhood where I belong to the resident association. All right, do we have any minutes to approve, Mr. Secretary Treasurer?
Through you, Madam Chair, we have one set of minutes. It's from our July 23rd hearing. President was yourself, Ms. Klein, Mr. Schwartz, Ms. Sankar, and Mr. Marzari.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair, I'd like to forward a motion for approval of the minutes.
All right, and a seconder, Mr. Marziari. Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Deferral requests.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have 2 deferral requests in the morning. They happen to be items 1 and 2.
Okay, let us start with item 1. One moment. This is 244 Homewood Avenue, a consent to sever one lot into two undersized lots. Do we have and the associated variance applications? We have our applicant. Welcome. Please just make sure the microphone's on there, button. And we'll start with you.
My name is Randall Dickey. I'm the authorized agent for the property owner.
All right, let's have our people online.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm very new to this, so I apologize.
That's okay.
I'm
Let's
one
start.
of the owners next door to this property.
So your
So I was
name
wondering,
and address, please?
it's my name is Masoud Hushmand, and this is 242 Homewood Avenue.
Okay, thank you. And did you hear the applicant has requested a deferral? Do you have any concern with that?
Yes, I no, I don't have a concern. I just wasn't sure if I should state why is it that I chose to speak today, or should I just wait for the deferred time?
You should wait for when the item actually comes forward.
Okay,
And hopefully the applicant will take the time to meet with the people who have indicated that they wanted to speak today, but, so you don't have a problem with the deferral. Thank you.
okay.
All right, next.
Through you, Madam Chair. Puya Tabakoli has been unmuted.
Hello, yes, this is regarding the same property that's been deferred. I'm okay with the deferral.
Thank you very much. And just to confirm your name and address?
Number 9 Norwin Street. My name is Puya Tabakoli.
Thank you. All right, next.
Good morning, Madam Chair. This is Harsh Joshi from 235 Homewood Avenue. I would actually not be okay with the deferral because this is the second time this application has come to the committee and there's not been much changes to the first rejection. And it does take a lot of time for us to actually go back and forth.
All
So
right.
with all due respect, that's my request to the committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Through you, Madam Chair. Michelle McCarthy and Tulio DiPaggio are not online.
Okay. Well, as this is a deferral, I think we can just proceed. Okay. All right, we'll take this into committee. Comments? Mr. Nipfel?
I think it's only reasonable to allow the applicant the opportunity to review the comments that came in late. And on that basis, I'd be in favor of moving a motion to defer the application.
So is that a motion?
It can be, yes. I move that the application be deferred to allow the applicant
second
to
that.
consult with or to review outstanding memos.
Thank you, and seconded by Mr. Fazeli. All in favor? Okay, the application's been deferred. You're welcome. All right, item number 2, 22 Pleasant View Drive. This is again another application, consent to sever the property into two undersized residential lots. And I take it our applicant is online.
Through you, Madam Chair, Henry Wang has been unmuted.
Thank you. Mr. Wang? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I can't hear you. I have a issue with the computer.
Uh, You're having trouble
Hello?
hearing us? Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes?
I'll log in again.
Hello? Do we want to? No, I don't think so either. Should we?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, I am at 18 Pleasantville Drive. My name is Alan Wayland Moore. I have a concern with the plan, but since the applicant requests to defer, so I agree with the deferral.
All right, thank you very much. Next.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Paul Lakins at 14 Pleasantview.
All right, and you heard the applicant has requested a deferral of the application. Do you have any concern with that?
I have no concerns about the deferral. I'm assuming that we will be re-notified.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next.
Through you, Madam Chair, Alan Y has been unmuted.
I already expressed my concern and also agree with the deferral.
This person already spoke.
I think it's
There are two.
Mr. Yu. You? I think you're right. 30 Edmonton, I think, is the one we're looking for. They have different numbers, I don't know. No, we only heard from one.
Alan Y Loon Walk has been unmuted.
Okay. Let's try that.
I'm at 18 Pleasantville Drive, and I already apprised that I have no problem with the deferral.
Okay. I'm not sure we've heard from Alan Yu or Chu. Did you have 3 people online?
Oh, hi. It's my turn.
Hello?
Oh, yeah. I just lost the connection and came back again. What is the proposal?
So at this point, we're talking about 22 Pleasant View Drive, and the applicant
That's
has,
right.
yeah, the applicant has requested a deferral
For what reason?
because they received a late staff report and some other late correspondence, and they want time to review it before coming to committee. Yes.
Like how long it will defer to? Like a month or?
First of all, can we just confirm your name and address?
I am in 30 Edmonton Road. My name's Alan Shu.
All right, thank you. So we don't know how long the deferral will be. It's dependent on the applicant and coordinating with staff. We don't know when that will be exactly.
Okay. So what choice I have? Can I express the objection now,
Yeah.
or I have to wait
You-
for the
You can,
next time?
you can express an objection to the deferral, but not to the application right now. That would be
Okay.
when it comes back.
Okay. So yeah, I don't have any comment today.
All right, thank you. Okay, that's it. Okay, let us take this into committee. Mr. Bartolo?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'll put forward a motion to defer this application to allow the applicant to review the new material and coordinate with the neighbors.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Fazeli seconds it. All in favor? That is carried. The application has been deferred. All right. Item 3, 145 Cameron Avenue. This is an application to construct a new detached dwelling and a garden suite in the rear yard. The variances are for building length, all exterior wall heights, setback to stable top of bank, east side yard setback. And then for the garden suite, the variances are separation distance of the garden suite, building height of the garden suite, platform encroachment into the separation distance, and height above average elevation. On file, we have a survey, plans, revised plans, supporting material, arborist report, tree protection plan, presentation, a community planning report, ravine and natural feature protection condition or memo, TRCA memo, letter of concern from 144 Cameron, and several letters of objection. Let's have our applicant first.
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Nicole Parr, and I'm at 22 Blue Forest Drive in North York.
All right, thank you. And before we begin, do you have any changes to make to the application?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, I do. If we wanted to just pull up the variances,
Yeah.
Variance 1 for length will remain unchanged. Variance 2 proposed wall height will be revised from 9.1 meters to 8.8 meters. Variance 3 and variance 4 will remain unchanged. Okay, through you, Madam Chair, 5. On the public notice, the 5 is the height of the main. So maybe you guys have a different numbering in front of you?
I don't think
not
so. It's the separation distance if the height is greater than 4 meters.
Oh, yes, that's removed.
Okay, but then item 6. Yeah,
Will be removed as well, but I'm keeping item 7.
right. So you're removing 5 and 6.
Correct, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Okay, is anyone here in the audience on this one today? No? They're online. Okay, so let's have a brief presentation and then we'll go from there.
Thank you very much. If the staff would kindly pull up my supporting material. Okay, so I've been working on this application for about 2 years. We've been in close communication with both the TRCA and Marine Protection Department on how to best locate the building to comply with TRCA regulations. If I can have the next slide, please. Due to TRCA requirements, we've actually, about 38.01% of the lot is unbuildable due to safety reasons and hazards. So we have to take that into account when designing the remainder of the building. We work with TRCA very closely through geotechnical investigation, and I'm happy to say that today we have their support to continue on with our application. Next slide, please. As well, we work closely with our arborists to identify the natural environment and try to keep as many trees. Due to that reason, the garden suite, it actually will have no basement. We will be using helical piers for the structural integrity of the garden suite. That does not come into account anymore because we are lowering this to 4 meters, but that was one of the reasons why I was requiring a height variance, but that doesn't matter anymore today. So I just want to say that we are maintaining as much as the natural environment as possible. Next slide, please. We can go to the next slide. This was originally, I had worked with the city planning staff who are incredible, and we had amended the application, but after neighbor discussion and the neighbor concerns, we further amended our application, but which I explained to you at the beginning of my presentation. So next slide, please. The variances. As you can see, some of them are removed. This was an earlier presentation. We're asking for side yard variance. This is because we gave up a lot of space for the TRCA. We needed to somehow make up for the square feet. The length variance, as you can see, is not the full length of the building. It is jetted out, but we require the extra space to have for my client's 3 children, the proper sizes of living, dining, and other areas, and I believe they are quite modest. As I mentioned, working with TRCA staff through the geotechnical investigation, they were satisfied with the amended 1.95 meters from the stable topping. So this has all been confirmed with TRC and geotechnical investigation. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I don't think this one is fired anymore. The following couple of slides, which you can just go through, please. They are examples in the neighborhood of buildings that have a similar front design. However, what these architectural companies have done is they've created a sloped roof in the rear, so it doesn't trigger sidewall height on all 4 sides, just in the front. And there are comparable examples of 8.8, 8.5, and similar in the neighborhood area, but they only require it for the front because of the slope design. In my opinion, from an architectural perspective, this is not a design that I look fondly on, especially given that this is on kind of a pseudo corner lot where the side yard, where one of the sides is completely exposed, and having that slope would just not be aesthetically pleasing, which is why we've opted with the full flat roof design, and it triggers all 4 sides at the 8.8 meters. And you can just scroll through these next 2 slides that have these examples. This is 178 Cameron, same idea. And these are just some other in the neighborhood, and you can see they all have the sloped in the rear, which is just something this is purely an aesthetic, but I think that from the 9.1 to the 8.8, we properly, and city planning staff agree with us, we've properly taken into account the neighboring similar examples. For the neighbors, I visited the neighbors on 3 separate occasions, left a letter. I reached out to the neighbors via email as well, to some of them that I wasn't able to reach. We tried to reach out, tried to minimize as many variants as possible, but given the TRCA concerns, and trying to design a proper building. I think this is the best that we were able to do. And I really tried to work with the neighbors in every way possible, sent them a letter, offered to meet with them, even outside of the 3 times that I went and left the letter for them. So I really think we did the best we could. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? No? All right, let's go to our resident.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name is Lori. I'm at 141 at Cameron. We submitted our concerns by email previously. In general, just to sum it up here, we feel that the submission requesting minor variances are certainly not minor. In our opinion, they'd result in overbearing buildings with the length and the height of both buildings being excessive, the distance between them being too short, and not in keeping with the current bylaws, which were developed for specific reasons. Based on what was just mentioned about the garden suite being reduced to 4 meters, I'd like to ask if that includes the piers that were referred to, because my understanding from the revisions that were submitted is that it would simply reduce the overall height by only about 30 centimeters or about a foot.
All
Can I
right.
get confirmation on that?
We'll let the applicant respond to that. Do you want to talk about any of your other concerns, or are you done?
I mean, if that is the case and it does not include the piers that were referred to, my concern would be that it's simply bypassing the issue of distance from the main home because it's technically being referred to as an attic and not a second floor. And that reduction would not even be noticeable by eye. So that would be my concern about that. In terms of the main building, the revision does not call for any substantial reduction. Being lowered by 30 centimeters as well hardly makes a difference. There's no change to the length or the width. And none of this will make the buildings any less intrusive. So there's a great concern regarding the overall massing of the property, not to mention the issue of a lack of green space for water absorption for the surrounding properties, which have all experienced extensive flooding several times, including our own home and the neighbor in between us.
All right, thank you.
So thank you.
Yes, we do have your letter. We've seen that as well. So any questions for the resident? No? All right. Do we have anybody else online or just this person? Okay. We did receive a few other letters, but let's have Ms. Parr back to respond to the concerns.
Through you, Madam Chair, just to address Ms. Michael Scott, I think is that the garden suite from the proposal that I sent via email with the 6 meters has been further reduced to 4 meters, including the pier height, helical pier height, meaning the total height of the building will be 4 meters. As well, this means that we no longer require that variance from the Committee of Adjustment. In terms of the water, I'm very sympathetic. I spoke with Miss Mary, who is my direct neighbor, and I assured her that there will be a proper drainage and grading plan done at the time of building permits that will properly account for all the drainage. As well, this grading plan will be circulated to TRCA, Ravine Protection, who will also have their say and their requirements for proper drainage and grading. And this will actually improve the grading on the property because it will force us to regrade and make sure that all the water runoff is directly into our property. That's one of the requirements from the building department. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Mr. Nipville.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Could you clarify how you reduced the height of the garden suite to 4 meters? Have you basically taken the second floor off?
Through you, Madam Chair, that's correct. We removed the second floor entirely.
So it's basically just a bungalow then?
That through you, yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Ready to take it into committee then? All right, we're in committee. I can start. I was going to say that initially I had some serious concerns about this application, about the garden suite. I think a 3-bedroom garden suite doesn't quite fit the, what was anticipated by a garden suite. I still have some concerns about the building length and depth, but now that the garden suite has been reduced in height and intensity, I don't have as many concerns. And again, I was a little concerned about the setback to the top of bank, but I see that the applicant has worked with staff from TRCA and Ravine and Natural Feature Protection. And it's a bit of an unusual lot. It's wrapped around by Ravine. So it's actually, I think, the side yard where it's quite close. My concerns are less so now. Mr. Nipfel.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. First of all, I think it's a very difficult lot to work with. It's quite a challenge. And I'd like to compliment the designer on her outreach to community and to others to discuss this application and working with planning, all of which is good. I'm pleased that the garden suite is not as high. I was initially very concerned with the distance between the main building and the garden suite, and I still am, but it now conforms to the zoning bylaw. So that I think with that change, I'd be prepared to support the application.
Thank you. Anyone else? Would you like to make a motion, Mr. Nipfel?
Get them all right. I'd like to move approval of the modified application with, I want to make sure I've got this right, with variance number 2 modified to 8.8 meters. Variances 5 and 6 deleted, and I think that's it. I also would like to add that the planning department's condition that height of the exterior main walls on the main building be developed substantially in accordance with the revised drawings, which are A8 and A11. And there's also a forestry condition number 1. I think with those changes, the application clearly meets the 4 tests, and I think it complements this rather challenging site.
Do we need to clarify the dates of those drawings? Because,
They're the ones that are attached to the planning report.
okay,
Dated
July 28th.
July
In the agenda, it says July 29th,
Yes,
but
thanks.
I guess it is July 28th. Okay. All right, do we have a seconder? Mr. Marziari, thank you. All in favor? That is unanimous, carried. The application as amended has been approved.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, item 457 Fairleigh Crescent. This is an application to alter the existing 1-story detached dwelling by constructing a 2nd-story addition. The variance is for floor space index. On file, we have a survey, plans, photos, 2 form letters of support from 55 and 59 Fairleigh Crescent.
What are you gonna see? If he's gonna miter everything in his shop and
Oh dear. Careful, you're on speaker. Okay, let us have our applicant.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. My name is Dustin Quinter, and I'm the owner of 57 Fairleigh Crescent.
Okay. And normally I will ask if you have any changes to make, but I assume we only have 1 variance, so I doubt there's a change to that.
No changes to be made.
Thank you. All right, does anyone have any questions of the applicant? Mr. Nipfel.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Could you explain, I'm not familiar with how the building would be used. Could you take just a moment to explain how many people are accommodated in your worship services and how many people at... I'm sorry, I have the wrong application.
I was going to say,
No
not a
problem.
problem. Any other questions for the applicant? No? All right. I think we can take this into committee. It's a pretty straightforward application. All right. Mr. Marziari.
Through you, Madam Chair, I think as you mentioned, it's a very straightforward application, just one variance for FSI, and I'd like to forward a motion to approve this application.
All right, and we have no conditions. All right, thank you very much. And a seconder, Mr. Nipfel? All in favor? That is carried. Application has
Thank you.
been approved.
Appreciate it.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Thank you. All right, item number 5, 12 Florence Avenue. This is an application to convert the existing two-story dwelling into a place of worship. The variances are for number of parking spaces, location of parking space, place of worship does not abut a major street, access to parking space, lot area for a place of worship, lot frontage for a place of worship, landscape strip on the east side of the property, soft landscaping in front yard, soft landscaping strip abutting a residential zone, length of a fence abutting a residential zone. On file, we have a survey, plans, photos, staff report, transportation report, 1 letter of opposition, and 2 letters of support. All right. So we have our applicant first.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Michael Goldberg from Goldberg Group, 2098 Avenue Road, Toronto, M5M4A8.
Thank you, Mr. Goldberg. And do we have people in the audience here today on this item? All right, thank you. So we have some people in the audience, and I believe we have people online. So first of all, are there any changes to make to the application today?
There are, Madam Chair. We filed on July 28th a revised public meeting, public hearing notice that where we marked up that variance number 8, and I'm wondering if you have the revised or marked up public hearing notice. Well, I could just tell you variance number 8 is revised so that it says on the bottom 2 lines, the proposed soft landscaping is not 16.04, but it's been increased to 35.0, which is not 23.9, but 52%. So that variance has been changed, and variance 9 is deleted, and variance 11 is deleted.
All right, thank you. Good to know. All right, so, but I think we will proceed with a brief presentation.
Yes, I've filed a presentation, and if someone could put that on the screen, that would be helpful. There we go. Thank you so much. So if you could just turn quickly to the page 3. There, fantastic. Members of committee, this, you can see the subject property. We've tried to provide some information here. We're just south of the Shepherd and Yonge intersection, and we are in an interesting part. This is very much the part of Florence Avenue that forms part of the North York Center Secondary Plan area. You could see to the immediate east is an unopened lane. I'll show you a picture of that in a moment. To the east of the lane is an approved 45-story building. To the north of us is a proposed 48-story building. And a few properties to the west of us is the proposed extension of the Beecroft from where it terminates currently at Points. It's ultimately intended to extend as part of the ring road system, the North York Center ring road system down to Florence. And you could see Yonge and Florence, Yonge and Avondale as a signalized intersection. Also in this area, on this plan, we've showed where commercial parking is located close by. If you could turn the page, please. Now, this is the North York at the Center final options and directions report, and you've got the community planning report with you that's recommending some conditions and has no objection to the approval of the application. And one of the reasons is because the subject property is being brought into the North York Center secondary plan. It is proposed for a mixed-use area, not a neighborhoods area. And you can see that non-residential uses such as institutional uses, as the planning or community planning report says, are encouraged in the area. And this is authorized by council to use in the consideration of planning applications. If you can turn to page 3, or page, please. Now, if you could just focus on view number 5, this is the subject building. It's a former dwelling that's now vacant. You could see that there's a driveway leading out to Florence Avenue. There's a 2-car garage that will be converted into interior space. Where that tree is located, that is actually the lane that is not open. It's just landscape. So one of the variances relates to getting access. But you could see where, you know, the gas station is next door, where the proposed 45-story building is, and this is a signalized intersection at Florence and Yonge Street, where access to surface parking and so on. So this property is very much at the edge of the current neighborhood, but forming part of the mixed-use areas of the North York Center, part of the downtown of North York Center. If you could turn the page, please, and I've got one more thing to say about the presentation. We've revised so that the fence will carry on along the entire length of the west side. We've increased landscaping in the front yard, and in the backyard, which is on the right-hand side, it will all be landscaped, and that enables the reduction or the reduction of 2 variances and the diminishment of the front yard landscape variances. Now, in terms of the variances that are before you, many of them are technical in nature. There's a parking space provided on the property. Clearly, there's the ability to have casual, 1 or 2 more casual spaces on that driveway area. The access to the site is not from the lane. It's currently from Florence. It's proposed to remain the same. It does not have access on a major road, but it is at the edge of the neighborhood. It's not it doesn't have frontage on a major street, but it's at the edge next to a lane, which is next to a Yonge Street tower site. And then in terms of the number of landscaping, we have really increased the buffering opportunities, the soft landscaping, and the buffering with the fencing along the west side. So in terms of the 4 tests, in the existing official plan, in the proposed official plan, a place of worship is permitted on this site. So from the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw and the official plan, that test of compatibility has already been determined. And this is an area that is proposed to evolve into a more downtown mixed-use area, and a place of worship, or a small place of worship, fits in very well for this edge location. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Mr. Nipfel.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll now ask the question I tried before. Could you, I'm not clear on how this building will function. Can you give me some idea of how many people at maximum capacity are accommodated? And are there peak hours when the majority of those people are on site, so forth? Just to get an understanding of how many people are coming and going and at what times.
Yeah. So there, Mr. Nipfel, and through you, Madam Chair, there would be, I suppose, regular Saturday morning services, and it's expected that 10 to 20 people would be attending a normal Saturday service in this small shul or synagogue. This is a typical, you see many of them up and down the neighborhoods areas along the Bathurst Street corridor, where single detached houses have been converted into small places of worship. This is the same type of thing, except it's in this location. So on Saturdays, there's the 10 to 20, and on weekday evening events, there might be 20 or 25 people coming to the facility.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? No? All right, let us hear from the neighbors then. We'll hear from the people in the audience first. If you're here to speak to the application, please come forward. Yeah, if you could come forward and let's start with your name and address. You said you sent a letter?
Yeah. My name is Amira Hasni and I'm at 15 Florence Avenue directly across.
Do we have that?
I sent it to,
Was it in the late submission? Because there's only one letter on file and it's from,
I sent one to Ellie Francois and the other email address was coa.ny@toronto.ca and then also to Councillor Chang.
No, there's
Was
no-
that
there's
just
an
staff
opposition and
check?
a support.
Was it in the late? Sorry? Oh. Oh, okay, so it may come as part of the late, but do you wish to speak to it?
I can read the email if that's okay?
Sure.
Okay. Dear members of the Committee of Adjustment, I'm writing to respectfully oppose the above noted application to convert the existing residential dwelling at 12 Florence Avenue into a place of worship. My concerns are based solely on planning and land use considerations, including the compatibility of the proposed use with the existing residential character of Florence Avenue, the requested zoning variances, and potential impacts on surrounding residents. The application is requesting approval for a multiple zoning variance, including reductions related to parking, landscaping, and other zoning requirements. The number and nature of these variances raise concerns about whether the proposal is appropriate for this location and whether it maintains the intent of the city's zoning regulations. The submitted proposal identifies 11 requested variances, including concerns related to a lot requirement, parking, landscaping, and buffering requirements. Florence Avenue is an established residential street designed primarily for low-density residential use. Introducing a place of worship into an existing detached residential property may create significant impacts that are not typically associated with surrounding homes, including parking overflow onto residential streets. I know they said they've got commercial parking, but people are not going to go and park in the commercial parking. They're going to park on the streets because we already have problems with that occurring. And I know they keep calling it a laneway right next to it, but it's a parkette. So it'd be nice to keep it as a parkette. So parking will overflow onto residential streets, which are already impacted by the increased activity on Yonge Street and will be further impacted by the proposed condo developments. There is only, from what I can tell, one parking spot proposed for this place of worship. Traffic will further increase in the neighborhood, especially during weddings, funerals, holiday services, and regular services. Potential safety issues from increased pedestrian and vehicle traffic and possible political motivated hostility, noise from gatherings or outdoor events, loss of the residential character of the neighborhood, more difficult emergency vehicle access if streets become overly congested. Residents already experience parking challenges in the area, including vehicles parking on Florence Avenue and occasionally obstructing driveways. The introduction of a higher intensity use with the potential variable attendance levels may worsen existing parking pressures. Given the number of requested variances and the potential impacts on surrounding residents, I respectfully request that the Committee of Adjustment refuse application A0225. Thank you for listening to my concerns.
Thank you. Question for you. Is there on-street parking on Florence? Can you park on the street?
During certain times, yeah.
Like limited hours? Is it paid
Yes.
parking or it's just the
No, it's-
usual 3-hour
Yeah,
parking?
it is not paid parking.
Okay.
And I just know that I've had to call the police quite a few times because I've had people blocking my driveway, and that's before all of this occurring.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
You are the neighbor across the property?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Other people in the audience to speak? No, the rest are online. Thank you very much. There are people online, so it may be that they're there, and then we did receive letters, so thank you. Let's go to our online people.
Good morning. My name is Carlene Se from 50 Florence Avenue. Can someone please confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I did send, or my sister actually sent a letter of concern via email. I'm here to speak in opposition of the proposed development. There was a question posed just now about the availability of on-street parking. I'd just like to clarify, there is no parking from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. On that street where the development is proposed. Though the applicant claims that there is commercial parking available, that commercial building is, again, a mixed site building. There are condos on top, and much of the parking is used for condo residents and closed off and solely for the use of condo residents. The remaining parking is shared by a large grocery store with a lot of clients passing in and out. So much of the parking oftentimes is used there as well. And in terms of accessing the parking, a lot of vehicles, because there are takeout restaurants, do block off the access to parking, and that area does get congested quite quickly. And this happens very, very regularly, especially during peak hours. One other thing that I'm very concerned about regarding the parking is that currently the parking is used for visitors of residents, especially on weekends, which is the proposed time for their service. Which means then that if we are going to have many visitors parked then on the streets, the residents will not be able to have guests in the way that they do right now, especially because the buildings, the houses right beside this proposed place of worship have limited driveway parking. Their driveway parking is often used for the residents' own vehicles. In addition, I'm concerned about traffic congestion because I don't think this plan takes into account the upcoming development occurring in the area, such as the development of 2 condos, those 2 mixed-use buildings, and then the incoming traffic that is going to occur, because we do have a lot of traffic congestion during peak hours already because we are right beside the 401. In addition, Florence Street, there is a traffic light. Because we're right beside the 401, many residents and many people passing through the street use Florence as a means to gain access to the 401. If we are to have then cars parked on the side of the street, either legally or illegally, this is going to create a bit of a bottleneck situation, especially because we only have 2 lanes on the street, one incoming and one outgoing. When we have cars parked on the weekend, it does slow the traffic flow, even though those cars are parked legally. One other concern is I understand there's a protocol for distributing and sharing information regarding this development, such that all neighbors can remain informed about the progress of the development. I understand that there is a 10-day requirement for signage to be posted regarding this council meeting. As someone who passes by that building on 12 Florence twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, I can say for certain that this signage was not posted 10 days in advance. I saw it about like Wednesday or Thursday last week. And many of the letters came in with the late submissions because this information was not shared with us and was not made accessible to us by the people who are proposing the development. We actually had a neighbor come around to share this information with us, which is how we learned about it, which is why there is this big influx then of late email submissions. If there are to be changes to our neighborhood, I understand that we have a right to access this information and then therefore a right to the knowledge and to participate in the hearing process. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions for the resident? No? All right, next.
Hi, I'm at 39 Florence Avenue. My name is Stephanie. I also oppose for similar reasons that were mentioned. Traffic congestion is also a big one. I've seen it where from Yonge all the way down that block is already backed up, and this would just increase that issue. Plus, honestly, everything else that has been mentioned, I would assume that there would be a lot of illegal parking, people blocking driveways, you know. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
it for me.
Thank you. Could we just confirm your last name, please?
Yeah, Volkov,
Thank you.
VOLKOV.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
An address, 39 Florence.
She said 39 Florence, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Next. I think we're only looking for one, right?
Through you, Madam Chair, King Alam has been unmuted.
Oh, hi, I didn't realize that I've been unmuted.
That's okay.
My name is Kinga Lam. I am a resident of 33 Florence Avenue, and I also oppose the application for the reasons Caroline and Stephanie mentioned. I think it seems to me that it sort of the application makes a mockery of bylaws. You know, some of them, for example, the frontage required or the area required, the house is only at 26% of the required area for a place of worship. The frontage is just 40%. So, you know, that alone to me seems would have been a reason to reject the application. But traffic is a huge one. We've had issues in the neighborhood in front of our house with the way people speed. Traffic congestion causes frustration. We've had people overtake in a small neighborhood with, you know, kids. And it seems like a very dangerous situation to add another place that would cause some traffic issues. So I very much oppose this application. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions? No? All right. That's it, right, for the residents? Okay, let's have Mr. Goldberg back.
Through you, Madam Chair, for the record, because Daniel Volkov is raising his hand, he's at the same address with Stephanie Volkov.
Yes.
So one person is allowed to speak for each
I mean,
address.
if he wants to add something, she didn't speak very long, so we can hear from him, but generally we just hear from one person per address, just so you know.
Yeah, sorry, we weren't aware. We also weren't given a choice. I think my sister more or less wanted to listen. So I also oppose this application. About a couple weeks ago, the applicant came by and spoke with us on the street, and they mentioned that we would be getting a letter in the mail from the city. We never received this letter. Also speaking with some of the other neighbors, they never received that letter as well. And the only way I noticed and found out that this meeting was happening is I was walking by the address on Tuesday evening last week, and I noticed the notice outside of the address. And so I had to scramble to put my comments together in an email since the comments were due the following day. And then as well, there were red lines submitted for the proposed variances. And those were submitted with less than 36 hours, I believe, prior to the comments being due. So it doesn't really give people a significant amount of time to find these comments, process them, and provide their comments on it. And I'd also like to ask a question. Would you be able to address the potential for politically motivated hate on the street and how this would be a benefit to the community?
All right, we'll let the applicant attempt to address that. All right, I think we can move back to Mr. Goldberg now.
Hi, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity to respond. I'll speak quite quickly. In terms of the notice sign, I can advise you that the notice sign was posted on July 27th. A picture was provided to the Committee of Adjustment, and it was loaded onto the AIC all in time, I am advised. If someone could put on my presentation again, and I'd like you to turn to page 3 of the presentation, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. And page 3. Thank you very much. This is an important illustration. First of all, I'll talk about parking for a second. You can see all the different Ps where there's existing commercial parking. And I suspect as time goes on, there will be additional. This North York Center is downtown North York, just like Yonge and Eglinton is like a center. It is a center. And people that go to Yonge and Eglinton frequently do not park on the street. They park in commercial parking lots, whether they're going to the theater, to their place, they're dining somewhere, they're going to a church in the area, or other places of worship, or if they're visitors in the area and there's not visitor parking in that building. This area is designed to change considerably. You could see the rectangle that is west of the site. That is the extension of Beecroft Avenue down to Florence. The planned function of Florence in front of this building, by virtue of the official plan and the ongoing planning work relating to North York Center secondary plan, is planned to change. Florence will become part of the North York Center Ring Road system. So by virtue of this planning, this segment of Beecroft will be changing significantly. If you can turn the page, please, you will see that this area is planned to be part of an area where 45-story buildings are permitted, mixed-use areas. Quite frankly, the use on the subject site is a very low-intensity use. It's using the existing building. There is no exterior alterations to the existing building. From a parking perspective, you will note that there's a variance that's before you of 1 parking space. And that is the variance that's before you. So it's assumed that should there be a place of worship here, that there would be parking off-site in some manner or another, whether it's in commercial parking, whether it's on legal parking spaces on the street, or in some other location. I will also just say, from a regular point of view, this is an Orthodox community. This is an Orthodox facility, and people who attend weekend services in an Orthodox community are strongly encouraged by faith not to drive their car to the facility. They're encouraged to walk or use public transit to the facility, but not to use not to drive their car. On the question of politically motivated hate, I'm sort of taken completely back by such a comment. And it's not a planning comment. It's not a reason in any manner under the Planning Act not to approve a legitimate place of worship. And I really can't say anything else about that. If that becomes a reason not to approve a place of worship, then I can only say that we are going way outside the official plan, way outside the zoning bylaw and way outside the Planning Act. And I encourage you not to have place any weight to such a comment. I'm surprised to actually hear such a comment. Those are my comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Goldberg. Any questions? Mr. Marziari.
I have a question. Through you, Madam Chair. Mr. Goldberg, as far as I know, based on a use of a building, there is a parking requirement. I can see there are 3 variances related to parking, variance 2, 3, and 5, but those are mainly related to the existing parking. So can you clarify that you are compliant with the parking requirement based on the square footage of the area, of the building?
We are. I can confirm that.
Okay, so you.
And I will also say, Mr. Mazariari, that because we are within a PMTSA, there is no parking requirement in this area because we're within the PMTSA, and that's by regulation of the province of Ontario.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any further questions of the applicant? No? Oh,
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's one person who is identified as the owner, James Back, which is raising his hand. So we want to make sure it's not mixed up. So should I unmute him?
sure.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, hello, good morning. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. Sorry, I think I was unmuted before, but I didn't realize it was my turn to speak. Yeah, so my name is James Back. I live at 21 Florence, basically kind of right across the street from the proposed development. So I had also submitted the letter. I think probably the one letter that was submitted on time. I do agree with the group. I think there was very little notice given, but as I outlined in my letter, there were sort of 4 major concerns. I think the 4th was addressed in terms of the number or the percentage of landscaping, but I do think the first 3 that I had identified are quite major variances and not minor. So the first one being the size of the lot. It is much smaller than what the bylaw requires. So I don't see how that is being addressed. The second being the parking. I disagree with the applicant's confirmation that he's meeting the parking bylaws. I do not believe, based on the bylaws that I read, that he's meeting the bylaws. If anything, he's reducing the reducing the 2 parking lots that's there to 1. And I believe the bylaw requires significantly more parking than what's required for this type of site. And I can't remember the third. Oh, the third was, the access from a major street. Again, I don't see how he's addressing that major variance. Again, he's saying we're on the edge of this development, but the edge is not within, the allow, I guess, zoning of the site. So, being on the edge is not considered, which I would consider being within the zoning of not being on a major street.
All right, thank you. Any questions? No? Thank you very much. All right, sorry, Mr. Goldberg, let's go back to you. Do you have any further comments to make?
I'm going to just say 2 things, Madam Chair. In terms of the size of the lot, that is a general standard within the zoning bylaw, which when you don't fully comply with it, it requires a full review through a mechanism such as a Section 45 minor variance application. We have reviewed this with community planning extensively. You have the comments from community planning arising from that consultation, and it's all relative. The smaller the lot does not mean it should not happen. It just means it has to go through a more public process, and it's not to be interpreted literally, because that's why Section 45 of the Act exists. In terms of it being at a major street, we are so close to a signalized intersection, next to a condo site, next to a laneway. We are at the edge of the community. It's not to be interpreted in a literal sense. It is in terms of compliance, but when it comes to a minor variance application to such a standard, then the merits of the application need to be considered. And in this case, being at the edge is significant, being close to a signalized intersection is significant. Because of the scale of this overall operation, there's no need for it to be on a major street. And it's the next best thing, being adjacent to a lane, adjacent to a condo site, and extremely close to the major street, and not part of the interior part of the neighborhood. It's at the edge of the neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further questions? I have a question. Can we put up Mr. Goldberg's presentation? Sorry. I think it's it's that one with the future land use. It appears on here that this property, it's not on the edge of that mixed use. It extends to the west of it. Is that correct? Like the property,
Well,
is it hard to tell from here?
no, the subject property is in the mixed use.
Correct, but does it not extend west of this property?
It does.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
And if you just go back to the previous page on the presentation, I'll explain why. So you see Yonge Street, you see Florence, and you see where the future Beecroft extension is going to be located. So everything east of Beecroft over to Yonge is in the mixed use area. Everything west of Beecroft is in the neighborhoods.
Right, okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify. And is that to the south of Florence as well? Does that mixed-use area extend, or does it end at Florence?
Let me just confirm that. It is south of Florence as well, all the way down to the bottom to the 401.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you very much. Any further questions? No? All right, we'll take this into committee. Okay. Somebody want to start Mr. Nipfel?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll start the discussion. I don't have any difficulty with the application in a different location. I think the problem here is, in fact, variance number 3. If this was on a major street with direct access to parking and be it paid parking or on other streets, I don't think you would have nearly the problems. This is a street that Florence has already got parking problems and congestion, as we've heard from a number of the residents. The number of people, if I'm correct, was 10 to 20 people at Saturday services, which is Saturday morning, and then in the evening, perhaps 25 people. Notwithstanding the face instruction that you should not drive, I'd be very surprised if there's no one driving to this location. And therefore, I think the concerns about parking, the inadequacies of parking and blocking of driveways, I think they are in fact the one major issue here that I have real trouble with. I think this would have benefited from a traffic study or a parking study. I'm not satisfied that the issues that have been raised by the community relative to parking have been adequately addressed. And that's my major concern. I have no concerns with the rest of the application.
Mr. Marziari?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to add to Mr. Nipfel's comment, I'm also surprised that no parking study is required for this application. I read the transportation report. I think I trust them. Those are the experts, but I was thinking for use like this with parking requirements, usually there is a parking study requirement. But other than that, I think the application is overall supportable for me. It's a transition lot. I don't think being on a major street is that much different from like being on like one street, one lot away from Yonge Street. So overall, I think it's a good site for this use. I don't see any use variance for that. So overall, I think it's a supportable application, and it's very close to all public transport on Yonge Street almost. There's a lot of parking around it. Again, I'm surprised that no parking study is a requirement, but I trust the experts with that, so they're supporting the application.
Madam Chair, sorry, through you, and I apologize for interrupting. There is a parking study in the late package, if you want to see it. that we can put up.
Would we like to see that?
Yes, it's not in our package, but yeah, can you put it on the screen?
While we're doing that, I will just say that transportation doesn't have a problem with it,
Yes.
neither do community
Yes.
planning. And I think the applicant has well explained why parking would not be an issue in this area. It's designated for higher order mixed uses. There wouldn't be parking requirement for almost any use in this area. So I don't have a concern with the parking issue at all. And given the nature of the use in this case, again, as the applicant indicated, there are a number of these types of small facilities along the Bathurst corridor. You can see them everywhere, and I don't think parking tends to be an issue, given the nature of the use.
I agree with you. I think, so I'm happy that so the transportation report is basically a reflection of the, the transportation memo is a reflection of the report, so they already reviewed
Takes
that.
into
So-
account
so
the
it
study,
adds more
yeah.
to my support.
Mm-hmm. All right, any other comments? Mr. Bartolo?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. On the issue of parking, since we're on it, I don't have a major concern. Like you said, if this was a different use, no parking requirements would apply regardless of that. It's probably in one of the more well-serviced transit corridors in the city. On top of that, there are some commercial parking services available. On the issue of not being on a major road or an arterial, it is only one property over from a major arterial on Yonge Street. It's next to kind of a gas station that's there now. And with the extension of Beecroft, it's kind of going to get sandwiched between two major arterials in the future as well. So I think that's a bit of a mitigating factor for that. The other items as it pertains to the area required for a place of worship, we do see a lot of these smaller places of worship, and the 2,000 square meters is not necessarily reflective of all the requirements of all places of worship. So I think on balance, it's a supportable application. I understand some of the concerns of the neighbor and having another use within the neighborhood and an already busy corridor, and I'm sympathetic towards that. But regardless of the use, frankly, you could have something that's more vehicle intensive than this use, and it would be permitted as well. So based on the application as amended, I can support this proposal.
Would you like to,
I
Mr.
can-
Fazeli would like to speak.
Sure. Through you, Madam Chair, thank you so much. I'm looking at the application as a whole, and I understand in regards to the transportation report, I know that the comment is literally about the variances, not the traffic studies. So they only comment in terms of the variance, I believe, 2, 3, and 5. And 2, 3, and 5, they are about parking spaces reduced from 2 to 1. And as for, and I'm just generally explaining the comments about transportation report. In terms of like the major street part, my opinion here is that I'm checking this application as what's before me, and sometimes some comparisons may be appropriate. For me here, I'm taking into the consideration of what the neighbors and stating here. I could compare the situation and say, yes, just because one property is located between this applicant property and the major street, but if I didn't have the neighbors coming and explaining and expressing what they have the issues, I may be inclining towards saying, yes, that would make sense. However, I'm weighing the application based on the evidence before me, also what I'm hearing from the applicant. So I would be concerned about the application as a whole in that matter. So I think I agree with Mr. Nipfel in that regard, plus the addition comments that I brought into it. So I think there is the impact here. If I'm looking at the floor test, I understand there is the community staff planning report as well. That's good information, but at the end, I refer to the floor test here. So these are my comments.
Thank you. All right, are we commented out? Are we ready? Does someone want to make a motion? Mr. Bertolo.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, through you. I will put forward a motion to approve this application as amended with the following revisions. Variance number 8 be modified to 35.02 meters, which equates to 52%. Variance number 9 to be eliminated. Variance number 11 to be eliminated. And that the front yard be developed substantially in accordance with the revised site plan drawing A100 received by the Committee of Adjustment on July 28th, 2026 as attachment number 1 to the staff report.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Marziari, all in favor? That is 3 in favor. Is that right? Yes. And opposed? Mr. Nipfeld and Mr. Fazeli. The application as amended has been approved.
Thank you, members of committee.
All right, you're welcome. I think we need to take a quick break. 10 minutes? Yep. I'll take it. He'll escort you.
Yes. I sent you the one for the revised, we'll have to send out.
Yeah.
I sent it. Oh, 96. Okay. Yes.
That's for 12, Florence.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes?
Yes.
We are back. Excuse me, thought I cleared my throat, but. We are on item 6, 113 Brookview Drive. This is to construct a new dwelling, new 2-story detached dwelling. Technical issues. The variances are for building length and building depth. On file, we have a survey, plans, revised site plan, tree protection plan, urban forestry memo, 5 letters of support. Let's have our applicant. And do we have anyone here in the audience on this? No. All right. And doesn't look like we have anyone online either, other than the applicant.
Yes, I'm here. So it's Sarah Ifrat, agent for the applicant, and the address is 603 Vesta Drive, Toronto, M5N 1J2.
Thank you very much. And do you have any changes to make to the application?
No, none. I just wanted to point out that, the variances are technical in nature. It's kind of a wonky lot, and it's got 2 houses beside it, which caused the front yard setback to be set at a certain spot. But when I pull the house that far forward, it actually looked quite imposing and not suitable for the lot. So what I did was I worked with the client, and we spoke with neighbors and things like that, and we pushed the house back a little bit, which then triggers those variances, because you can see where the length is taken from. Let's start with the depth, for example. It's taken from the required front yard setback. The actual house itself, the 2-story portion, is under 17 meters, and then we've got a little 1-story breakfast room at the back. So those 2 variances really do come from the configuration of the lot. The house itself, though, is modest in nature. And like you see there, we do have neighbors' support. They did go around to all the neighbors. Not all of them had a chance to sign, but nobody had any issue. They wished them well. And as you can see, we don't have any opposition on file or there with you today. So if there's no
All right, thank
anything
you.
else, I can answer questions.
Do you have any concerns if we tied the variances to substantially in accordance with the site plan?
No problem, 100%.
Great, thank you. All right, I don't think we need anything else. Anyone else have a question? No?
No.
Let's take it into committee. Go ahead, Mr. Nipfel.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. As the applicant indicated, these are technical variances, and they're due in large part to the configuration of the lot. I don't see that there's any negative implications. I think that the proposal before us meets the 4 tests, and I would like to move approval of the application unless my colleagues have concerns. And the only condition would be that the variances be substantially constructed in accordance with the site plan drawing.
And I believe there's forestry.
And there's forestry number 3.
3, yeah, all right, thank you very much. Seconder, Mr. Marziari, all in favor? That is carried. The application has been approved.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, item number 7, this is 15 Whitewood Road. The application is to construct a new detached dwelling with an integral garage. Variances are for height of building, height of side main walls, floor space index, percentage front yard landscaping, height of main pedestrian entrance above established grade, vehicle entrance through front main wall of residential building. On file, we have a survey, plans, arborist report, urban forestry memo, transportation review, and 5 letters of objection. Is there anyone here on this item? In the audience? No? Okay. Turn my page. So we do have some residents online.
Hi, Madam Chairman. I'm here online. My name is Caitlin Strezov. My address is 105 Franklin Crescent in Ashburn. If the committee's ready, I'd like to just read through the variances and why we're applying for them.
First of all, do you have any changes to make to the variances?
No changes.
All right. We have a few people online who wish to speak to the application. So if you could give us a brief presentation and address the variances, that would be helpful.
Okay, so I'm here as the agent representing the homeowners of 15 Whitewood Road. The homeowners are applying to create a suitable home that includes multi-generational living within one dwelling, and they've proposed no accessory structures. So I'd like to address the overall structure height and wall height variances together. The height variance only affects a small portion of the peaked roof and is not being requested due to excessive ceiling heights. The main floor ceiling is set at a modest 9 feet and upper floor ceiling is set at 8 feet. This variance is necessary to ensure proper attic insulation, and visually the height increase is negligible compared to other two-story homes in the area. Additionally, there is a current proposal for a 9-story residential building directly behind 15 Whitewood Road. While this is just a proposal, it suggests a much larger structure may soon be approved, making the requested minor variances here seem reasonable by comparison. It's also worth noting that if an average was taken, the wall height would be relatively compliant with the zoning, as some wall sections can reach up to 10 meters with flat roof construction. This approach keeps the overall impact modest and consistent with neighborhood standards. The requested variance for the increased FSI is based on the lower floor, which visually appears as a basement and is well below the established grade. The basement is not normally counted towards the FSI, but in this case, it only does because of the technical definition of a basement. So adding additional steps in the basement would make the space inaccessible for elderly family members, and there would be no visible difference from the outside. This variance allows for a practical, accessible home for the owner's loved ones while maintaining the spirit and appearance intended by the zoning bylaw. For the requested minor variance for the reduced front yard landscaping, the overall impact is visually negligible. What is being proposed here will clean up the property and incorporate a beautifully landscaped front yard with the preservation of the mature tree. The requested front entrance elevation variance is intended to balance the aesthetic from the outside of the home and the number of steps within the home. Although the front door is slightly above the height limit, when measured from the established grade, the height of the retained section, which is required to preserve the mature tree, remains within the permitted amount. We found over 9 nearby locations with the same variance, and the actual number throughout the zone would be much higher. So lastly, I will comment on the minor variance to include a garage in the front main wall. Every effort was made to ensure the garage design is modest, recessed, and consistent with neighborhood aesthetics, ensuring it does not dominate the home's appearance. We scouted the neighborhood immediately nearby and have 15 addresses that have garages. Again, this is not an exhaustive list of what exists within the same zone. It is simply brought forth as an example of what is immediately surrounding this address. Although we realize there's a bylaw within the neighborhood that prevents this without a minor variance, we wish to express that in all other neighborhoods where a garage is permitted in the front face wall, that there is a minimum lot frontage that is required to do this. And 15 Whitewood Road has this required lot frontage. We also wish to express the growing concern around this address for on-street parking, which is predominantly due to the extremely tight front yard setbacks that do not permit legal parking spaces in the front yard. The addition of this garage will allow this homeowner to keep their vehicle off the street and free up space for the other residents. The homeowners have an electric vehicle that cannot be charged while parking on the street, and they require this legal parking space, which is only made possible by way of having the garage. Parking in a very short front yard with a sidewalk creates a safety risk for pedestrians, which is why a parking space requires a legal size. This minor variance simply addresses modern transportation needs and will blend seamlessly with the community where there are many homes that currently have garages in the front. While we understand the number of proposed variances may seem significant, each one is minor and consistent with what already exists in this evolving neighborhood. We respectfully ask the committee to approve these minor variances as the finished home will blend seamlessly into the neighborhood and give no visible indication that variances were ever required. I'd be happy to clarify or expand on any questions or concerns you may have, and thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Marziari.
Through you, Madam Chair. I have a question about variance number 3. Do you happen to have the FSI excluding basement area?
It would be approximately 0.7. So there still would be a variance needed in this case, but it would not be as significant as it appears when
So
you include the basement.
You would be seeking 10% extra, sorry, yes, 10% extra FSI if the basement was considered as a basement, not first floor.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Any other, Mr. Nipfel?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It's difficult to tell from your site plan because of the scale. Have you considered or explored alternate layouts for the paving and the landscaping so that you would meet the bylaw requirement for front yard landscaping? There's a paved area that leads to the steps that join to the front yard, to the front door, sorry. But then there's that paved area that's beside the driveway, which looks to be quite large. Is there any way that could be minimized or a portion of it dedicated to planting so that you would not need the variance for front yard landscaping?
I tried so hard to get every inch in there. Just the functionality of getting to the house, getting into the garage, the walkway leading up to it. Unfortunately, it requires more of the hard landscape surface. If you look at the flat portion leading up to the front staircase, that portion there, if it could be kept as green space, we wouldn't have needed the variance. The issue is that you're going up 2 steps, you're walking across grass to get to your other steps, right?
No, I wasn't assuming you'd get rid of that. What I was wondering about, you see the piece of paving that's at the base of the stairs, it's a certain width. The paving that then joins the bottom of the 2 stairs that then joins to the driveway, could it not also be the same width as the portion that leads to the stairs to the front door? There's a portion there that I don't understand what it's for.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from this view because you can't see the entryway to the garage, and that little bump out is an aesthetic for a bay window. But if we don't keep that portion open, the accessibility of the car within the garage is next to impossible.
Is the car driving over a portion of that paving?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Have you considered using permeable pavers for the driveway? It doesn't affect the bylaw, but it's another way of increasing permeability on the site, which is the objective of the front yard landscaping.
We could do that. I would have no issue if that was posed as a condition.
Okay. Thank you.
It's just from an aesthetic walkway to get up there and provide access to that garage opening.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Any other questions? No? Let's hear from the neighbors. I'm not sure what an alternate owner is on your list.
Through you, Madam Chair, Julia, my Baguisa has been unmuted.
Okay. Don't know. Hello?
On to the next one. Through you, Madam Chair, Ken Raycraft has been unmuted.
Yeah, so if you want, like I'm pretty open tomorrow after 11:30.
Hello?
Otherwise, on I have to
Mr. Raycraft, can you hear me?
on
don't think he can
Monday,
hear.
I'm
Okay.
Should I ask him if he's available?
No, both of them, yeah. 269. Hi, how are you? From Committee of Adjustment, you've been registered to speak towards 15 Whitewood Road. You're online, so I unmute you, so, but you didn't speak. Are you going to speak or not?
They were in another.
Uh-huh. Maybe.
Oh, you don't have anything to say? You don't have anything to add? Any comments? Okay, okay. Okay, I will put you on the speaker, okay? I will put you on the speaker so you can express your concerns, okay? Okay. Okay, let me put you on the speaker.
To say.
Oh,
Nothing.
okay, thank you, bye.
All right, I think we're probably
Let me
just
call the other
trying to
one.
get Mr. Raycraft on the phone, correct?
770. This was Julia. My Guisa didn't have any comments, so I'm
Okay.
trying to reach out to Ken Raycraft.
Yep.
670-053.
I know.
Hi, Mr. Raycraft. It's supposed to be on Committee of Adjustment. If you're online to speak regards 15 Whitewood Road. Okay, so yes, I will unmute you, okay? Okay, so are you going to speak or no? You will listen, okay. Okay. Thank you.
No?
He wants to listen, so.
Oh,
good, yes.
so we have nobody, it would appear. Okay. All right. Back to the applicant. Apparently, people are just listening to hear what's happening, so I don't think we have any concerns that you need to address. All right.
Thank you.
Any further questions for the applicant? No? All right, we'll take it into, Mr. Nipfeld, were you going to say something or no? Okay, let's take it into committee then. For,
No, like, it's crazy. Come on, understand, but.
subject to the right-of-way may be used for driveway purposes. Ugh, let's go back to the survey. Is it a mutual drive? Is that the, yeah?
Maybe you can ask her.
Do we want to go back out to confirm with her that they're okay with that? Or are aware of it? Let's go back out just to be sure. To the applicant, did you see the comment from transportation requesting a legal opinion letter confirming that the land subject to the registered right-of-way may be used for driveway purposes?
I did not see that request in the filings there. However, that laneway, I would like to make a comment on it. Originally, if you could utilize that laneway, the application would have included an accessory building in the rear yard for the parking. But this historical laneway, the size of it is so narrow that you could not get a normal vehicle through that location without reducing the width of the house, which is already extremely narrow to begin with because the lot is only 28 feet wide. So thus that laneway, we respected it, left it alone. We did not need to close it up for any reason. But the modern house would be better with the garage in the front. Otherwise, the applicant doesn't have, or the owners do not have any ability to park their car and charge it.
Okay, just to clarify, I don't think we're talking about a laneway. We're talking about a mutual right-of-way of the driveway to the adjacent neighbor.
Yeah, so that mutual right of way, I'm sort of referring to it as a laneway, as you can see on the official survey, that's what they call it. That has been respected. That will remain in place. In fact, that neighbor next door, there was conversations with him. He was happy to hear of the garage, happy to hear that that space would be opened up, because I believe he has a temporary parking pad on his property. So this renovation actually with the addition of the garage and not using of this right of way actually benefits that direct neighbor, and it's been respected and maintained within the new plan. So nothing has changed with that right of way.
That's fine. I think it's just that transportation is asking for a letter of confirmation regarding that. That's a condition.
If it is respected, would it be needed? Like if the right of way was maintained in its current state with the new build, which is what's proposed, would we still need? What confirmation would they
We
need?
really can't answer that. I think we would lean to put the condition on, and then you would discuss that with transportation and see whether they still need it if it's being maintained. Like you could demonstrate to them.
No problem. So I just speak with them and see if they're opposed to what's currently proposed. And then as long as that satisfy that condition, we would be okay.
Yeah, you'd have to satisfy it one way or another with transportation.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're taking it back into committee now. Mr. Marziari.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you, I just started the discussion. Overall, I think it's a supportable application. I'm not a big fan of variance number 2, which is the height of main wall, and also variance number 6. Variance number 2, I think it could be done like, architecturally, the basement could be designed in a way to lower the main wall height. But I think it's not a big variance. To me, it meets the 4 tests. And also the variance number 6, I am quite familiar with the neighborhood. Integrated garage is not common in this neighborhood, and it's in Leaside, and that's why they, put this bylaw to impose on the applications. But I know on this street there are few integrated garage, which again I think it's to me is minor. Overall, I think it meets the 4 tests, and I don't have any big problem with the application.
All right. And Mr. Nifeld, are you willing to second it?
No,
or-
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we can get some clarification on the South Eglinton Davisville residents letter, because they've indicated that there's a ban on integral garages in this area, and I'm not sure if that is accurate, or is there a ban, and how is the ban enforced? That was my major concern with this whole application.
Can we have the letter of the South Davisville back up? I think you had it up at one point. I'm not aware of a ban. No one has informed us of a ban, and we don't have a staff report indicating that that's an issue. It could be in their design. Do they have design guidelines or?
No, it's a ban that the councillor proposed. Hold on.
Staff, can
The
we? put-
backward, if you
put
read,
those
it's on
comments
there, there's a ban, they reference a ban. This project has one significant design flaw through which it appears all the requested variances flow. This would be the introduction of vehicular garage in the front elevation of the proposed new residence, a design approach which was banned by the City Council on October the 2nd, 2017. And then the rest of their letter deals with that. I don't know about this, but it might explain why there are very few, if any, integral garages in this area. And this association is actually pretty good at accuracy, so I take them at their word.
Hmm. So staff reported to community council recommendation of adoption of a bylaw. Blah, blah, blah. Well, that's news to me.
Me too. And there's no planning report that
No,
identifies it, but that's a pretty significant
yeah,
statement. And I remember reading this in another application about an area of Leaside where you couldn't in fact have integral garages. And I gather this is the same chain of activity.
well, I know Leaside has some design, they have, I forget what it's called, but they have a report on design elements, but integral garages are not part of that
Yeah.
one, of the, the one that, the Leaside area that we familiarly get applications in. Laird and Eglinton area, so.
Sure. Well, I guess.
We could ask the applicant if
My
you want.
concern is this is floating and I think it's a serious issue and I don't know the status of this ban
Yeah.
and whether how it's been implemented.
I can add to that. I think it's neighborhoods a specific bylaw that the integrated garage is not permitted. But as I said, because I'm quite familiar with this neighborhood, I have a few other applications. But there are some approved on this street that I think there's I can.
Yeah, there's one, I
like
did see
on-
one somewhere.
Yeah, 4
Yeah,
on
that's-
Whitewood Road.
Yeah,
It's about, characteristic of the neighborhood, but I don't know how. Want to go back to applicant? or-
yeah, let's go back to the applicant, sorry. In and out of committee.
Hi.
Hi, are
Um,
you aware of anything?
So to state a ban is pretty harsh. I don't think that's what it is. If you look under the 930X that's added to the zoning of this area, it talks about the garages not being part of the bylaw, so not being permitted. It's not a ban. And so thus, if you do want to have a garage in this area, you need to apply in the form of a minor variance to have it approved, right? And we drove within 4 streets of the property and counted up over 15 garages in this area, all on the newer constructed homes. And then I'll point again to the fact that there's current issues right now with the street parking. So if the setback requirement is maintained for the front yard, a legal parking space does not fit. It would not be permitted, which then puts cars on the road. And this applicant has an ERV vehicle and the need to charge it. You can't do that from the road. So integrating this garage benefits the neighbors' ability to continue to park at that curb line. I just think it's very minor in nature. Maybe this bylaw is looking to discourage it. And I'm not sure that every single applicant coming forward to build a new home is going to utilize it. I just think we've brought forth good reasons to ask for it here.
Did you have any discussions with planning staff about your application?
We went through the full zoning certification review to identify what would be the minor variances before we applied, which is what is recommended to do before coming to the committee.
So you had a zoning review
Yeah, full zoning review, yeah.
and nobody identified an issue with the garage?
No, there was a sit down too with that you can arrange with the town, and there was nothing notable there. I think that's why the application proceeded as minor to the committee.
Yeah. It would. True. Right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's go back to committee. I don't want to spend too much time on this. We don't have a staff report. We don't have a variance for allowing a garage, which if there was a bylaw, you're right, Mr.
Isn't that
Bartolo.
what 6 is? Isn't 6 the variance you need?
It's a very big, so basically in this neighborhood.
Oh,
you're not
that's how
allowed
they
to
restricted
have
it.
Garage
Got
access at the front. So basically, the bylaw is to eliminate garage doors on the
Right.
streetscape.
Yeah.
But there are
preserve the
other-
characters.
Yeah.
But there are others
Yeah.
happening, like I can see.
Okay. All right. I feel informed now. Okay, does somebody want to make a motion or make a comment? I agree with Mr. Barziari. I think that initially I don't like the height on the walls or the overall height. And I think it could be lowered. But overall, I don't think the application is too far out of line. Maybe we should tie it to the plans, to the elevations. Anyone?
I wouldn't tie it to the elevations,
Okay.
particularly because I think the architectural treatment is actually making the building look taller than it is. So I don't,
Okay,
I would love it if the applicant would improve the elevations.
I can try a motion. if
Okay.
No one else wants to comment. So I think the application meets the 4 tests to me, so I'd like to forward a motion to approve this application subject to forestry number 1. And I also include the driveway portion to be permeable pavers to address the soft landscaping deficiency at the front.
all right.
And also there's a transportation condition. Do I need to read that?
We need to read it? Sure.
Computer is frozen.
Oh, can we just put it up, the transportation? I can read it if you like.
I've got it
Yes,
here.
please, can you help me? Because
Yeah, I've got it too.
frozen.
Do you want me to-
Please.
Are you going to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
The condition is that, subject to a submission of a legal opinion letter confirming that the land subject to the registered right-of-way may be used for driveway purposes and vehicular access to the proposed integral garage. Yeah. All right,
So yeah, that's my motion.
that's the motion. And Mr. Fazeli seconds that. All in favor? That is carried. The application has been approved.
You frozen?
Thank you.
You're
We
welcome.
opened the file.
All right. Item number 8, 100 Waterloo Avenue. This is to alter the
Want me to move this
existing
one over?
dwelling by
Yeah.
constructing a
Okay.
new rear deck. The variances are for west side yard setback and lot coverage. On file, we have a survey, plans, and photos. And we have nobody here on this item.
Hello.
No, all right.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. My name is Vladimir Bozik. I'm architect for this project and registered agent for the owner.
And your address, Mr. Bozick?
121 Prescott Avenue.
Thank you. All right, I don't think we need a presentation on this. Does anyone have questions for the applicant? No? All right, I think we'll just take this into committee. Oh, yes, now I remember this one. Okay, anyone? Mr. Bartolo?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I think this is a pretty straightforward application. The proposed lot coverage is not triggering any other variances for landscape cover or anything of that nature. So while numerically it's a little bit higher, I don't see any issues with it. Therefore, I'll put forward a motion to approve this application.
All right. no
Would you accept a friendly amendment that would tie the variances to the site plan?
No problem. So I'll add an amendment that it be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan attached.
All right, Mr. Fazeli seconds that. All in favor? That is carried. All right. Item 9, 46 Wallingford Road. This is to yes. Mr. Bartolo's leaving? Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't write it down. Staff did. Yes? All right. To construct a new 2-story dwelling with a partially covered rear deck. The variances are for depth and height of a rear platform, building depth, roof eaves projection in front yard setback, lot coverage, west side yard setback, east side yard setback. On file, we have a survey, plans, arborist report, a presentation, forestry memo, TRCA report, and letters of support from 44 and 53 Wallingford Road. Do we have anyone in the audience on this? No? All right. And online, we have our applicant.
Good
Looks like
afternoon, Madam
Mr.
Chair. Last
Bronskill.
name's Bronskill, first initial D for David, 333 Bay Street, Suite 3400 in Toronto, appearing on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Bronskill. Do you have any changes to make to the application today?
There is one change, Madam Chair, and it flows from the planning staff memo that you have in front of you. You'll note in their recommendations for variance 4 related to the roof eaves encroachment. And this, Madam Chair, is at the front. And so it engages variance 4. There are 2 numbers, Madam Chair, that I need to change, although the planning staff memo just notes the 1 number, but both of them change, Madam Chair, by 0.56. So if you look at the variance 4 says the proposed roof eaves at the first story encroach, I don't know if that should be encroaches, but now I'm just doing grammar, Madam Chair, I apologize. 2.06 into the minimum required building setback, and the planning staff memo would change that from 2.06 to 1.5 meters, and we are in agreement with that.
Okay.
That 0.56, Madam Chair, then also needs to be translated into the second number. It says, and our, I understand eaves is plural, so we're taking it as a plural eaves as opposed to a singular eaves, and our 6.97 meters from the front lot line. I need to take that same 0.56, Madam Chair, and increase that 6.97. So it would be 7.53 meters. So the encroachment has decreased by 0.56, but the setback from the front lot line has increased by 0.56, if that makes sense to the committee.
Yes. Thank you for the clarification. All right. We don't have anybody on this item, so I don't know, does anyone want a presentation or does anyone have any questions for the applicant? No? I just want to check the plans for 1 sec. We have a covered deck again. Yes, yes. Okay, I think I made a note in my notes. Let me just double check. Oh yeah, I just wanted to clarify, Mr. Brunskill, the building length, is that include the outdoor room? Is that the reason for that? Or is it something else?
I'm just pulling up the presentation, Madam Chair, so I have it on my screen as well. So the length and depth go to the back of the single-story breakfast room, Madam Chair. And so the site plan, which staff have helped us put on the screen, oops, sorry, Madam Chair, I'm just trying to move it on my screen at the same time. Sorry, I just need to see it all. And unfortunately, I'm only seeing a portion of the site plan. Just apologies, Madam Chair. So the measurement you'll see there in the center of our presentation, if staff have page 3 of our 9-page presentation, the color document's a little bit easier.
Okay.
The 19.23, it's measured from the red line is both the front yard setback, but also where the building wall starts. And it goes to the back of the 1-story projection breakfast nook that you can see there. So it doesn't go to the back of the platform.
Right.
It goes to the 1-story projection, that rectangular piece off the back of the house, if that helps, Madam Chair.
It does. Thank you. All right. Any questions? Other questions? Mr. Marziari?
Through you, Madam Chair. So since the building length and building depth are partial, if you approve this application, are you okay to tie it to the site plan, the latest site plan?
I am, Madam Chair. I thought about this a little bit in advance in terms of the fact that I have modified variance 4. And so just out of an abundance of caution, I don't know whether we need to, through a condition that would tie it substantially in accordance with the site plan, whether we need any language to recognize that the canopy
I see,
projection
yeah.
has decreased. But I think if I just look,
So you don't have a site
does
plan
staff have the
reflecting the change?
same? It does reflect the change, yes. So I can accept that condition.
All right. Any other questions? No? I think that's it. I think we could, no? Take it into committee? All right.
I don't have it. I don't have it either.
Mr. Marziari? Oh, sorry. No, there is no report. Mentioned. Oh, he did. Did we have a late staff report on this one?
We do. Okay.
Sorry, these late staff reports are,
Can we put it on the screen?
there it is. That was the reference to the eve, the change in the variance for the eaves. But that was the only comment that staff made. It must be in the late one. Is it? Or the late? All right. He was, yes. He probably got it before we did. All right, does somebody want to venture a motion? Mr. Fazeli?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Yes, we have the report too. Okay, all right. So I think with the modification, I'm satisfied with the application. So I'd like to forward a motion to approve the application as amended. I think the forestry, there's no condition mentioned actually.
No.
And yes, so there are no conditions.
All right, thank you. A seconder.
I would second that. I think I mentioned to tie it to site plan, but since the staff doesn't have concern, I can.
Okay, so no
So I second
condition
it.
for that. All right, Mr. Marziari seconds that. All in favor? That is approved as amended.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. All right, item number 10, 17 McAllister Road. This is an application to construct a 3-story detached fourplex and a 2-story garden suite. The variances are for front yard setback, height of fourplex, main wall height, west side yard setback, front yard canopy setback to east side lot line, parking space width, and for the garden suite, the rear yard setback of a garden suite. On file, we have a survey, plans, applicant's photos, transportation review memo, urban forestry memo, 1 letter of opposition from 20 McAllister Road, a late community planning report, late applicant revisions, late revised plans, late planning justification. All right. And I believe we have our applicant in front of us. There were a lot. Yes. Is the button on? I guess. I think we can hear you. Sounds like it.
Just wanted to sure. Okay. Ian Flett, 99 Yorkville Avenue, here for the applicant. all those late submissions reminds me of high school. But there, what you have before you are a number of changes to the application that we hope will make it more palpable for the committee. So maybe I would begin with the revisions to the application. These revisions are inspired, so to speak, by the community planning report and also by the letter of opposition that you have on file.
All right.
In fairness, we've achieved everything community planning asked for. We've achieved most of what the neighboring opponent asked for. So beginning with variance number 1, that is deleted. So we will now comply with the front yard setback. Variance number 2 is modified so that the proposed height is 10.80 rather than 11.54. So 10.80 is the height we are seeking. Variance number 3 is modified so that the main wall height would be 10.65 rather than 11.39. And this is the outstanding variance where the neighbors have asked and continue to oppose.
Okay.
Now, variance number 4 was incorrectly transposed by the zoning examiner, and it should be corrected. And this is in the zoning notice that has been filed. It should be corrected to the east side yard setback and not the west side yard setback. Let me double check to make sure that that's correct. That's right, yeah, east. I just have the plans in front of me and I've marked down east, west very clearly. Then variance number 5 is deleted.
Okay.
And variance number 6 remains unchanged. In respect of the garden suite, variance number 7 is deleted. So that before you, well, the garden suite would be as of right. So no variance is required. What's important about this change is that brings the structure of the garden suite outside of the tree protection zone that triggers the condition requested by urban forestry.
Okay.
So the committee has before it a staff report from Director David Sitt recommending approval on modifications. Modifications I've just confirmed with the committee. A planning rationale for Mr. Chan dated July 31st, together with our revised plans and a red line public notice. You'll notice that transportation review memorandum was supportive, and you have the advisory memorandum from urban forestry. The applicant proposes to replace a single one-story detached dwelling from 1953 with a 3-story detached houseplex containing 4 rental units, together with a 2-story garden suite in the rear yard. This would be 3 bedrooms, a garden suite that can accommodate a family as of right. The site is in the neighborhood's designation on the south side of McAllister Road, less than 100 meters from Bathurst Street. As you likely know, Bathurst is a transit priority segment on map 5 of the official plan, and it currently has 24-hour service on the TTC's 10-minute network, meaning a bus arrives at least every 10 minutes. The property immediately to the east is zoned residential apartment and is designated apartment neighborhoods, developed with an 11-story building at 4300 Bathurst. If you've had an opportunity to visit the site, you will notice that the adjacent component of that property is a large surface parking lot. The proposal delivers 5 new rental units, 4 family-sized 3-bedroom units in the houseplex, plus a 3-bedroom garden suite, in exactly the build form the council contemplated when it adopted the expanding houses options in neighborhoods framework. The application before the committee today is materially different and materially better than the application as originally provided. In respect to the front yard setback, we've now withdrawn that request. Building height is exactly where community planning asked us to put it. The main wall height remains at 10.65, but without objection from community planning. The canopy was withdrawn, and the garden suite solves the problem with urban forestry. And the way you know that is that the boundary tree that urban forestry identified of 30 centimeters would require a tree protection zone of 2.5 meters. And the setback is now 3.15. The result is that the 3 of the 7 originally requested variances have been eliminated. 2 more have been meaningfully reduced. The applicant has moved substantially towards compliance in response to neighborhood concerns in the community staff report. So that leaves us with the building height at 10.8 meters. 0.8 meters is roughly 8% of the 10-meter maximum. This is the number staff identified as appropriate, and it accommodates 8-foot 7 floor-to-ceiling heights and interfloor soundproofing and a basement recessed as deeply as the wheelchair lift for the accessible unit permits. The main wall height follows directly from variance 2, and it's mitigated by dormers and angled roofs at the 3rd story and at the front and rear, which reduce the perceived impact of the additional height from the streetscape. The east side yard setback is 0.61 meters, where 1.2 is required. And you'll note, as I indicated earlier, that it's a large surface parking lot on that side. 6.51 meters is the setback to the west. Variance 6 is for a parking space length of 6.5 meters rather than 6.7, and transportation review confirms no objection to the 20 centimeter difference. The intent of the zoning bylaw is achieved. The remaining variances are modest quantitative deviations that do not undermine the built form controls the bylaw is designed to protect. The intent of the official plan is advanced through OPA 649 and SASP 826, which expressly contemplate a range of low-rise multi-unit housing in neighborhoods and which importantly do not require multiplexes to conform to prevailing heights in the immediate context or the geographic neighborhood. The remaining deviations are roughly half a meter on one side, 8% of height, 3% of parking length. We would submit that it is desirable to have 5 new family-sized rental units, ground floor accessibility with a wheelchair accessible unit, walking distance to 24-hour transit, and reinvestment in mature neighborhood in exactly the built form council intended. The applicant agrees to the condition, permit to injure, we as indicated, that condition would no longer be required because of our changes. And for these reasons, we would respectfully ask the committee to approve the application as revised. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Good thing, because you're over time.
Was I over time? Oh, when it turns red, I'm over. Oh, you counted the time of the
2
change to the
minutes, yes.
application. Well, I slipped a little advocacy
I know,
in there,
but
so fair
somebody
enough.
does. Yeah. Sorry, we were just during all your.
I noticed there was conversation
It
during
was
my submission.
regarding the notice requirements regarding the change in the setback. So we were talking sort of about that. We don't have a neighbor on the, so instead of the west side as it was advertised, it's actually the east side, which appears to be an apartment building parking lot. That's correct?
Yes, so to be clear, you say as advertised, that it was the zoning examiner, with all due respect to them, that marked the incorrect cardinal point. The plans have remained unchanged, so the plans have
Okay.
always indicated that that's where the variance would be required.
So it's, I mean, I think it's okay in this case. I mean, if it was a neighbor who was not necessarily informed of the difference, then maybe that would be a concern. But in this case, I don't think it's really too big a deal. All right. Questions of the applicant. So we have nobody, we just have that letter on file from 20
McAllister across the street.
It's actually a really well-written letter.
It was
I
a
have
very
to say.
well-written letter, Madam Chair. And in fact, it's the clarity of that letter that helped the applicant arrive at the conclusion and modifications that they made. Understanding we couldn't satisfy each of their concerns.
Right.
But as I understand it, the only outstanding concern is the main wall height.
And did you have discussions with this neighbor?
I
Or no?
don't know if the applicant reached out to the neighbor.
Okay, but with staff for sure.
Yes.
And could we have the planning report, since it was late, up on the screen? Thank you. No additional conditions that they had on it, just those changes to the variances which were made, correct?
That's right.
All right. Questions of the applicant? Mr. Nipfel?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have 3 areas that I would just like to question you on very briefly. You've not talked to the owner to the west, and you've got 5 parking spaces basically and a driveway along that side of your property. what means or what process have you going through to try and obscure the view of those cars in the parking, or are you doing anything? There's nothing on your plan to indicate fencing or planting or, so, can you clarify that?
Sure. In fairness, I'm not sure if the applicant has actually had a conversation with the owner to the west or
Okay.
not. So there may well have been a conversation there. Also, I would note that we don't have any communication. They would have been properly informed. And I can indicate, and I'm receiving this live, is that if that's a concern of the committee and it's a reasonably held concern, we would agree to the imposition of a fence being installed along that lot line. But without the explicit concern of someone who's properly notified, it's a reasonable issue to bring up, but I'm not sure that it's an obligation in this case.
Okay. My second question has to do with, I'm not a fan of these external stairways on the multiplexes, and I'm happy to say that we're seeing very few of them. We're getting a lot that don't have them. In this case, I don't think it's nearly as severe because basically your building is close to a parking lot. But did you explore creating the building without the external stairway?
That's been actively explored by this applicant with the city and with the province because it is a building code issue. They're trying to maximize the unit sizes and to get the most out of the unit size. And so when you integrate the staircase, it's a give or take. Either you're going to shrink the unit size or ask for a greater building length.
In some cases, I would argue that that's legitimate and it should happen. I don't feel strongly here because of where you are located. My third question has to do with your elevations. You've gone to some pains, or the architect has gone to some pains to treat the top floor differently on the front and the back, which gives I think it's successful in creating a less bold visual element. Have you considered extending that same treatment of the third floor on the two sides?
I suspect that is, so I don't know for sure exactly where that was headed. However, having had this conversation before in other applications, that really does make a number of the rooms, especially when you have a kitchen and living room, less usable on that third floor.
I think that what you've done at the front actually has very little impact on it, but I wondered if you had explored that. Yeah. I don't feel as strong here because again, your building's pulled away and we don't have the next door neighbor to talk to.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I guess I just wanted to clarify the need for the additional height. Which would be really variance 3, I think, and 2 and 3, basically, like what other people are able to meet that requirement. And in this case, it can't be met. And I guess I just want to understand why.
We're proposing to invite a family to raise 2 children in a space that's 1,100 square feet. And I always defer to my clients who know the market and know what they can rent and know how it's going to rent and the economics that make the whole project viable in terms of decisions like that. Could this be built with fewer variances? Obviously. In this case, this is the market reality for this developer and for this applicant. And so you have 2 forces pulling at once. You have the force of ensuring it's economically viable and attractive to the investors that make it possible, and the desire to make it an attractive unit for a family to occupy. And so, it really is in many respects a market question. In terms of this location, I think, and as earlier questions have indicated, we are in a somewhat unique location. We're right next door to the apartment neighborhoods. We're abutting it, and then on the other side, there's a 6.5 meter setback to the balance of the neighborhood. And so, thinking that a rear yard setback is usually 7.5 meters, we have almost the equivalent of a rear yard setback to the neighborhood. I understand, and I think it's an appropriate question given the neighbor's ongoing concern with the main wall height variance. But that really is the best answer I can offer.
Okay. Any other questions? No? All right, let's take it into committee.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will just say further to Mr. Nipfeld's comment about the fencing along the west property line. I think there's, similar to putting a privacy screen on a balcony, I really think there should be a fence all along the west line, like a 1.8 meter fence.
Yeah, I do too.
And I would say like, I don't know, I don't want to necessarily say wood, but a screen fence, like not
Yeah.
a chain link fence, just from a privacy, and with the stairway in the back as well. So
Yeah.
those are my personal comments.
I agree.
I don't love the whole design in the rear stairway, but I would agree, given its location, I think the impact is fairly minimal.
I think if it was the other way around, if the building was on the other side, I would be not in favor of this because these external stairways are as imposing as the buildings themselves. But
Yeah.
in this case, it's next to a parking lot.
It is, but you're still, the people in to the west in their backyard
Yeah.
don't need to see all of that.
All that stuff.
Including the
Yeah.
parking, so. I would just put that as a condition personally. Anyone else, or anyone want to make a motion?
I'll
Mr.
go.
Nipfeld?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I believe that this modified application clearly meets the four tests. So on that basis, I'd like to move approval, subject to the modifications that have been suggested, which is variance 2 modified to 10.8 meters, variance 3 modified to 10.65 meters, variance 5 and 7 are both eliminated.
And one, wasn't it?
And 1 is also eliminated. Forestry condition number 2, and the provision of a 1.8 meter high privacy fence along I believe it's the west property line, but I just need to double check.
And we also need to clarify that variance 4 is changed from east to west, right?
Yeah,
Sorry?
it's along the west property line.
East, sorry, it should be east.
West to east.
Yes.
Both,
Sorry.
and it's,
I saw that on the page, I just read it wrong.
and which one oh, it's number 5?
4.
4. So that it reads the proposed east side yard setback is 0.61 meters.
Correct. Okay. And seconder, Mr. Fazeli, all in favor? That is unanimous, carried. The application as amended has been approved. You're welcome. Okay, the last item is 46 Mason Boulevard, and this is the item that I have a conflict with, so Mr. Fazeli is going to take over. Thank you.
All right, so item number 11 is 46 Mason Boulevard, the construct an ancillary structure in the rear yard. We have only one variance for the lot coverage, and we do have the urban forestry, just for the members to know. Let me just make sure if there are any late reports. No. No. All right, so that is all for number 11. We have the agent. Can we get the agent? Okay, he's in here. Yes. Can you
Hi, good
please
afternoon.
state your name and address, please?
My name is Lissandro Lorenzati, 75 National Road, Scarborough, Ontario.
All right, thank you so much. Have you made any changes?
No, not at all.
All good. All right. Okay. So, do we have anyone, neighbors? All right. So, do we need any presentation? No, we are good to take this into the committee.
Thank you very much.
All right. Can I any comments? If not, can I get a motion? Yes, Mr. Nipro, please. Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Yes, thank you. The application is approved unanimously. Yeah. Well, we get the Madam Chair back. So yeah, we are done basically for our AM session. So we'll be back at 2 p.m.